The harsh reality of homelessness in Texas. Imagine the scorching Texas sun beating down on a broken pavement, the air thick with the desperate hum of survival. People are huddled in makeshift shelters, some openly engaging in intimate acts, others lost in the fog of addiction, all locked in a chaotic struggle to simply make it to tomorrow. This isn't fiction. It's the stark, daily reality for over 27,000 homeless individuals across Texas. Since 2020, this number has shockingly surged by 12%, according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. Street Stories. Homeless News is here to pull back the curtain and reveal the human stories behind these staggering figures. From Houston to Dallas and Austin, the homeless population is growing at an alarming rate. Austin alone has seen an 18% increase in homelessness in just the last 3 years, now totaling over 3,000 individuals, based on HUD data. Sidewalks, underpasses, and parking lots are now lined with tattered tents and flimsy plastic tarps, the only barrier many have against the elements. The scenes are gut-wrenching. Individuals surrounded by their meager belongings, some battling visible substance use, others engaging in public intimacy as a desperate act of survival. It's a different world out here, a local outreach worker confided in Street Stories Homeless News. These are people fighting to hold on to their dignity in the face of unimaginable hardship. The emotional toll of this reality is profound. Imagine having no safe place to rest, no privacy, and no glimmer of hope for a better tomorrow. Families, veterans, and young adults are all caught in this crisis, their dreams crushed by the daily fight for existence. In Houston, over 4,000 people sleep on the streets every single night, a 15% rise since 2022. Street Stories. Homeless News is dedicated to sharing these powerful stories, to unveil the humanity behind the statistics, and to demand urgent change. What does it truly feel like to lose everything, yet still cling to a fragile thread of hope? Join us as we dive deeper into the lives of those who call the streets their home. The root causes of Texas's homelessness crisis. How does a person end up on the streets, lost in a world of chaos and despair? The homelessness crisis in Texas is fueled by a perfect storm of economic, social, and personal factors that push people to the very edge. Economically, the cost of living has skyrocketed. For instance, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Austin now stands at a staggering $1,800 a month, a 30% increase since 2015, according to Zillow. Yet, the minimum wage remains stubbornly stuck at $7.25 an hour, unchanged for over a decade. For someone earning minimum wage, over 60% of their income is swallowed by rent alone, leaving almost nothing for food or emergencies. Social challenges only deepen the struggle. Access to mental health care in Texas is severely limited, with only 35% of those in need able to access services, according to the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. Substance dependency presents another formidable barrier, with far too few recovery programs available. On a personal level, devastating life events like job loss or domestic issues can quickly spiral into homelessness. A 2024 survey by the Texas Homeless Network revealed that over 40% of homeless individuals in Texas cite unaffordable housing as the primary reason for their situation. These aren't just statistics. These are lives unraveling under unbearable pressure. The emotional weight of these causes is crushing. We met Maria, a 28-year-old in Dallas, her eyes filled with tears as she shared her story. "I was working 2 jobs, but it wasn't enough," she whispered. "One day, I couldn't pay rent, and that was it. I was out here. Now, I'm saving every penny for a bus ticket to see my family. They're all I have left to fight for." Maria's unwavering determination to reunite with her loved ones is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit. A story Street Stories Homeless News is honored to share: the overwhelming challenges of the homelessness crisis. The homelessness crisis in Texas is not merely a statistic. It's a brutal, daily battle that pushes human endurance to its absolute limits. For those on the streets, the constant struggle for basic necessities like food, hygiene, and shelter is relentless. In Houston, 1 in 5 homeless individuals has been on the streets for over a year, according to HUD data, facing ceaseless exposure to the elements with no safe place to rest. The emotional toll is immense. Imagine the gnawing fear of never knowing where your next meal will come from, or the profound shame of having no privacy, forced to live in the open for all to see. The chaotic nature of street life only amplifies these challenges. Public intimacy and substance use are rampant, driven by sheer desperation and a complete lack of alternatives. In Dallas, reports of such behaviors have surged by 20% in the past 2 years, according to local outreach groups. These aren't choices. They are grim survival mechanisms in an environment where hope feels impossibly out of reach. The severe lack of sanitation facilities means many go weeks without a shower, their dignity stripped away with each passing day. It's like living in a nightmare you can't wake up from, a homeless man in Austin told Street Stories Homeless News, his voice heavy with exhaustion. The emotional scars run deep. We spoke with James, a 45-year-old veteran in Houston who has been homeless for 2 years. "I served my country, but now I'm out here forgotten," he said, his eyes welling up. "I've seen people lose themselves to drugs, to despair, but I'm still fighting for a second chance." James recently enrolled in a job training program, a small but significant step toward rebuilding his life. His resilience is precisely why Street Stories Homeless News continues to share these stories, to show that even in the darkest corners, hope can still exist. The devastating role of substance use. Substance use has become a heartbreaking hallmark of the homelessness crisis in Texas, often serving as a desperate coping mechanism for many facing unbearable hardship. In 2024, the Texas Department of State Health Services reported that 38% of homeless individuals in the state struggle with substance dependency, with opioids and methamphetamine being the most common. On the streets, these substances are often used openly, a desperate attempt to numb the pain of hunger, cold, and utter hopelessness. The sight of individuals using in broad daylight is a stark and painful reminder of how deeply this crisis runs. The emotional toll is gut-wrenching. We met Lisa, a 40-year-old in Houston, who shared her struggle with tears streaming down her face. "I started using to forget the pain," she said softly. "Out here, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. But I've been clean for 2 months now, thanks to a program that believed in me. I'm fighting for my future." Lisa's journey from dependency to recovery is a powerful reminder of the incredible resilience that exists within these communities, a story that Street Stories Homeless News is proud to share. Her determination to reclaim her life moved us deeply. The cruel cycle of substance use traps so many in a relentless loop of despair, making it almost impossible to find stability. Without access to recovery programs, many feel there is no way out. In Texas, only 1 in 5 homeless individuals with substance dependency can access treatment, according to state data. This severe lack of support leaves them incredibly vulnerable, their dreams overshadowed by the daily need to survive. Street Stories Homeless News is here to shine a light on these struggles, to highlight the humanity behind the statistics, and to demand more resources to help individuals like Lisa rebuild their lives. The hidden pain of exploitation and public intimacy. One of the most profoundly distressing aspects of homelessness in Texas is the prevalence of exploitation through public intimacy, often intrinsically linked to survival. Many individuals, particularly women, find themselves in terrifyingly vulnerable situations where they feel forced to trade their bodies for basic needs like food, shelter, or substances. A 2024 study by the Texas Homeless Network found that 25% of homeless women in the state have experienced some form of exploitation, a statistic that breaks our hearts. On the streets, intimate acts in public spaces have become a grim reality, a clear sign of just how desperate survival has become. The emotional impact of this exploitation is devastating. We spoke with Emily, a 29-year-old in Austin, who shared her story with a trembling voice. "I never thought I'd be in this position," she said, looking down at her worn shoes. "I've done things I'm not proud of just to eat, just to feel safe for a night. But last week, a shelter took me in, and I'm starting to believe I can have a different life." Emily's incredible courage to share her story and her fragile hope for a better future is why Street Stories Homeless News continues to tell these tales, to show that change is possible, even in the darkest moments. This exploitation strips away dignity, leaving individuals feeling trapped and utterly dehumanized. The severe lack of safe spaces forces many into these horrific situations, with absolutely nowhere else to turn. In Dallas, reports of public intimacy have risen by 20% in the past 2 years, according to local outreach groups. It's a cruel cycle that perpetuates vulnerability, making it incredibly difficult for people to break free.